Well, let's find out if we see anything different out of LG for Game 2 picks and bans already. Now, I predicted this patch 3.8 hitting could spell trouble for enemy. I did predict them to 2-0 here out of interest.
I did too.
But I was like, well, if this goes wrong, I'm going to blame the patch and the fact these guys are not as good.
I felt it was less patch and more, or patch with enemy and more the patch versus andinster with
That's
speed
what
buff.
I was thinking too, more than likely. But enemy, they seem to still hold together the true, tried, tested ability they've shown so far this season. They've guaranteed themselves still to stay after day 1 of Week 7 at the top of the SPL as the bans come through.
A lot of mid laners here taking out Giannis and Zeus, so LG respecting Khaos' Giannis, even though he didn't go off like he did against the likes of Soar and Envy, still don't want to deal with it. And enemy, they're going to first pick Thor that was banned away last time.
Varizial loves this god. It's a sort of a situation for him to be in where you get speed buff, you can do even more ganks potentially, and he's quite happy to either front line with it, back line with it, peel with it, gank with it, assassinate with it.
Varizial on Thor is a Swiss Army knife, right? He could do whatever is needed for his team, right? Not only will he look to invade, he'll look to gank, he'll look to peel, he'll look to set up, and I love Varizial, right? I still don't think there's an individual star on enemy, but we're starting to see the names come out, right? We're talking a lot about PandaCat and a lot about Varizial.
Khaos too. I mean,
Khaos too. Right, that's the thing. Like we were talking about, it's like no one's a star, but like the more we see them play, the more we're seeing these individuals really shine in certain games.
Well, Scylla in the mid lane for Khaos this game doesn't have his Giannis available, so he's going to default over there. No Jean-Qui this time around because it is against a Raijin from TheBoosh.
And they're going to actually, enemy going to take away JeffHindla from BaRRaCCuDDa, so no Artemis right now for enemy. I'll be interested to see if Luminosity pick up Artemis sometime.
I mean, I guess as well, the reason that you don't want to take Artemis here is, so you can give Artemis up. If Luminosity go for Artemis, they've got to deal with Thor that can rotate and look for the kills on it.
This is also a deadly combination. Thor, Scylla, JeffHindla, right? It's kind of the same instance in Ethan that if Thor's up in the sky, right, and you're looking at him, and then Darkest of Night comes out and you can't see him, that's really dangerous.
Not only that, if Scylla's popped I'm a Monster and is prepared to ult, when Darkest of Night,
the second it's
stunned, you have to stand still or you're getting stunned anyway. And that moment is the moment Scylla can look to dunk.
I like how BaRRaCCuDDa here has gone to Apollo. This is less about any individual matchup and the more the fact that JeffHindla is going to have Darkest of Nights. He doesn't need to be in fights to be effective. And now BaRRaCCuDDa can potentially look to out-rotate him by just ulting over. They also have Athena as well, so the double global coming out of LG in the duo lane.
Very surprised by the picks and ban phase so far. It was Guan Yu and Sobek banned out by Luminosity. Okay. Support focus against PainDeViande, but they leave Capri up, which, interesting. Very interesting. Especially when they've got Thor on this lineup already.
Yeah. Enemy have two very strong carries in Scylla and JeffHindla, both doing a ton of damage, right? And as long as Varizial doesn't need to do damage in this comp, I expect him to go his traditional build where he goes into boots and into the breastplate. He doesn't need the Jotuns early, probably a Void Shield as well. He's just trying to stay alive, and it is interesting to kind of see that Kepri left open. I do expect PainDeViande to go for it, but honestly, all the teams really have been staying away from it this week.
So far, yeah. Bellona and Sun Wukong will be our solo laners this time round. Obviously, we're going to see Scary D on Sun Wukong this game, not Marauder. Marauder going to go.
I wonder if we'll see Odin.
Bellona.
Oh, I'm looking at LG's comp, and I'm thinking, like, this is PainDeViande. We haven't seen Odin in a while, but, like, Raijin, Athena, Apollo, like
Raijin's not too bad against it.
It's not too bad because he has a Thunder Crash, but typically you're actually seeing Raijins be most successful if they're aggressive with the Thunder Crash, and so all PainDeViande needs to do is wait it out and then go in.
But when he tries to wait it out, I expect to see andinster there with a Fear No Evil with that to try and push back the enemy team when they're going. The biggest person who could get caught out a lot early on could be JeffHindla on the Athena against the Odin. If the rings connect in the jungle, Athena's going to have to ult out every single time.
And that's the thing. All of Luminosity have escapes, but Athena and Apollo and Wukong all need to rely on their ultimates.
Well, and when they rely on those ultimates, they have to stand still. At least 2 of them do, and I'm a Monster will be waiting for them potentially. Let's find out, though. Game 2, enemy up 1-0. Let's fluffing go, says JeffHindla.
Is that what he said?
That's what he said. Word for word. I guarantee you, let's fluffing go. They need to find something this time now because game 1 went enemy's way.
Also, LG, you can never count them out.
Nope.
Honestly, even in that last game, right? Even though enemy had the pressure and LG had the kills, still, like, in all instances, we felt like LG could just win a fight cleanly. That was kind of the unfortunate thing. They only won a single clean fight there in their mid lane, and all they got off of that was a single Phoenix.
So, build to the beginning of the game before we even talk about where they're all going to start. We're going to see Power Pot again for TheBoosh and and Varizial are the 2 power pots we see. Actually, we also have andinster that's taken one as well. But Raijin seemed to be taking power pots early on with Soulstone, looking for the early game kill. We saw that in the set earlier today.
He has a lot of damage, right? Like I said, Thunder Crash used aggressively, especially early on. You don't because you don't have to worry about as much follow-up, right? You know it's the 2v2, and even though you can get turned on, it's more about you know your limits, and if you know your damage output, it's like, even if I get turned on here, if I Thunder Crash aggressively, I'll still come up with the kill beforehand.
And Khaos, though, is gone for the safer option of just going straight for the damage option with the tiny trinket here and the extra potions. Not going to go for power pot, so there should be an advantage for LG.
I'm wondering what he's going to build into. We don't see Tiny Trinket too often anymore, so it could go into Bancroft's Talon. That's what we typically see from it.
We've seen a little bit of that in Europe. I wouldn't say too much in North America so far, but maybe the transition's been made. Order of the start of the game of where people began. Once again, LG took mid Harpies straight into blue. Meanwhile, enemy did speed into blue buff. The other side of the map, back to the duo and mid lane, they just did the standard start we've been seeing this season.
And you can see this helps Raijin get to lane a little bit faster, and Khaos going to lose a little bit of gold.
Go to duo lane, though, real quick, because that pressure already, there's a full minion wave heading in to enemy's tower early on. They got to lane so much quicker, BaRRaCCuDDa and Jeff, with that power pot of BaRRaCCuDDa.
And BaRRaCCuDDa actually taking a bird bomb there. Oh, BaRRaCCuDDa getting rooted, but quickly purifies away. 160-second cooldown for there, and that's going to be an opportunity for enemy to try and set up a kill.
And BaRRaCCuDDa obviously going to be on his own a little bit longer. You see andinster now just rotated back to that mid lane after sharing the wave. Bird bomb goes out from PainDeViande, clearing out the wave with PandaCat. Taunt hits PainDeViande into a full minion wave.
Pain's in trouble.
So he takes a lot of poke for BaRRa. BaRRa's going in here. Good poison, good shell in response. These duo lane pretty close.
And I love what PandaCat did there, right? Immediately you saw the poison to slow down BaRRaCCuDDa and andinster. They couldn't close the gap. And then when he actually...
speed. They stole the speed buff, I believe, and now they're going to try and pick up the kill onto Varizial in response. Andy giving chase, uses the somersault, but not going to close the gap in time. And that is enemy recognizing the path LG took at the start.
They saw what they did game 1. They recognized that the speed buff wasn't immediately taken, and they quickly respond by stealing away. Varizial, though, getting very close to death. Almost could have got turned on there. Still, though, staying alive and stealing away the speed buff, so important early on.
So important early on, but still, andinster a little bit of an experience lead over Varizial. Even before that there, you can see that Varizial just hit level 4 now, but will go for these Harpies. So this should even up for a moment as the wave cleared in mid, means LG can look for the right-hand back Harpies to steal away themselves.
And you can see andinster here should hit level 5. This is something that actually enemy needs to be careful of. Is it going to be 5? No, just short. So andinster can't set up a gank in the middle lane. But you can see him looking over to the right-hand side.
I was going to say, he could look for Marauder potentially here. War comes out from Varizial, just going to hit onto TheBoosh. BaRRaCCuDDa with no purification for a few more seconds, remember. And that's why they're harassing. That was a very nice double tap.
And you can see Varizial maxing that hammer, so doing a little bit more damage than his Berserker's Barrage. But andinster still sitting underneath. And I thought andinster was going to try and hit 5 and then force a fight there, but not going to connect. Both of Luminosity there.
Oh, BaRRa, though, very low still. Trading out with PainDeViande on the front there, Jeff in tow. Both about to hit level 5, but you can see BaRRa out of health potions here, so it has to be very careful now.
And PainDeViande has gone blink, so if he wants, once he gets level 5, if he wants to take a trip to the mid lane, could look to be very aggressive, and JeffHindla will have to respond, but both of the enemy's dual laners are just going to be farming up as Luminosity actually go to split the back Harpies together.
I'll tell you something now as well. The closest we're going to get to see Mercury today is that Jag.Raw skin. That's the closest we're going to get to seeing it. World double tap, Andy, half health in one. Nice combo once again from enemy. Right, Harpy's due to spawn here, and that may give an opportunity now for enemy with Andy getting chipped down to half health.
You can see Andy wanted to fight there. Tries to throw out the monkey. Probably would have ulted. Right-hand side, Marauder. Gonna ult, but that's fine for him. You can see both players are out of potions. However, a little bit of healing coming up for Scary because of that somersault cloud.
The rise of some Wukong, though, to the solo lane. You notice he's just slowly started to get himself back in it. Everyone thought he was weak and not very useful. He was too low in health to fight at the early game. And
you know, Tully was saying it's really about kind of like the free poke that he can offer as opposed to other soul laners, as well as, you know, the Ox is very good at disrupting team fights. It's not the best ability, but still just like if you could hit multiple players in a team fight and knock them up, like it's very hard to respond to that.
You mentioned the free poke, and that's what stole a Fire Giant last game from Marauder. And when he was playing the Sun Wukong, that, let's be honest, he's just stopped.
You know, I wonder
again. Where I think that game could have gone differently.
I was just thinking about that as well because LG still grouped up and were able to push a tower. They didn't. I think they had only lost one member. That game could have gone much differently. That wouldn't have not only been a tier 2 in mid, but also the towers on the sides as well.
That's the strength of some Wukong right now. That Jingle Bang saved the game, potentially for enemy, or at least maybe change the story. Speedbuff being invaded by enemy. 3 members are here. However, Luminosity coming around to defend. BaRRaCCuDDa and andinster. Athena up from coming out from Jeff onto ScaryD, though, will make it a 4v3, and immediately enemy back away.
Enemy got Athena ult, so I don't think they care too much, but actually, Varizial, PainDeViande, he's out of combat. He could look to find
Jeff,
a big ultimate, but it's just poke.
Surprised Jeff wasn't a pick there from PainDeViande. Obviously, he didn't have his ultimate available to get away again, so Jeff would have been trapped in that ring, and, well, I could have spelled
They
death.
could have been a little bit scared, right? Fear No Evil's up, as well as TheBoosh's ultimate, and then BaRRaCCuDDa has, you know, across the skies, so could make it a 5v4. I do think they could have burned JeffHindla, but honestly, Luminosity probably would have got more kills in response.
Well, at the moment, you can see the experience on the left-hand side. And at the moment, we're all about evens. A little bit of a Hunter advantage there, I'd say, just for a moment or two. But it'll go back and forth as the minions come in between the two of them. I'd actually say BaRRa's got a little bit of a lead. Actually, no, I'm lying. That's a lie. It's actually PandaCat.
You're a bad liar.
I know. I lie all the time.
You can see the stats
I just
on
make
the screen.
things up. I just
hey,
make
man,
things
that's
up.
fine. That's all we do here. andinster out farming Varizial a little bit, has a level lead, as well as about 300 gold. So doing his best job here to get control, but
this is
no one's really forced anything just yet. You can even see the damage numbers very low.
It's very much like it's comfort right now for both these teams. They've both transitioned to this. All right, 3 guys in mid again. Solo lane. Duo lane Hunter, you continue farming and we'll fight in mid lane over and over again instead of what we saw from this sort of map position in Season 2.
However, but like, it's funny because both teams, like, they get very aggressive. It's typically an enemy here, but they'll both get aggressive, look to see if they can force anything, and if they think the other squad will respond fast enough, they're like, all right, it's not worth the risk, let's back up.
And honestly, going to turn up here to the duo lane to soak up some experience, denying that from BaRRaCCuDDa, but accelerating himself.
Poor
in terms of
BaRRa,
experience.
Man. Poor BaRRa. And like I said, right now andinster is ahead of Varizial, and that's only going to get extended if he can split some waves.
I was wondering if that was going to be a Gold Fury play there with taking that experience away from BaRRa just to
that actually right there probably could have been a Gold Fury for Luminosity. You saw the position, but not a lot of teams like risking that. Really, enemy is the only squad that'll really look for these very early Gold Furies if they feel comfortable and they notice players kind of not paying attention to them as much.
Well, Luminosity are going to get right on Harpies for free. The Fire Imp's about to spawn again on the right-hand side, and you can also see that ScaryD is going to be in position. They're going to get 4-man shared, those Imps, and 1 Jingle Bang brought all 3 down there from ScaryD.
andinster wants this speed buff here. Marauders could potentially lose it. He's waiting around the side, and here comes Pain.
There's a follow-up as well from Varizial coming in there on the Thor as well. Ultimate already used by ScaryD. Trapped in the ring is Jeff. The I'm a Monster completely whiffed from Khaos, which could have spelled a much worse position for LG. But in the sky is Thor.
LG's grouped here. Marauder caught PainDeViande in a little bit of trouble, and Marauder's able to get away, but Varizial takes out ScaryD in the back line, trying to set up some more kills, but he's surrounded by 3 players. He needs his hammer, but it's still 6 seconds. Marauder trying to peel for him there and helps a little bit, but it's going to be a 1-for-1. LG get first blood, though, on PainDeViande.
Everybody gets very low in that, and in the end it was a support for a solo lane trader, but as you said, the biggest point, PainDeViande died first, and it went the way of andinster on that Batz.
And extending his gold lead up against Varizial once again, now 500 individually. The game's still very close. We're only separated by about 300 gold, and that's that first blood for LG. And you know, that could have gone much differently if that I'm a Monster had connected and potentially reset onto Jeff.
Well, you were mentioning as well a little bit more about Scylla. He did go for the Bancrofts, which you expected could be the first thing after their tiny trinket, and now working on the boots.
It's a ton of damage, but still, like, not a lot. But Magical Lifesteal really isn't that potent, right? The only god it's really useful on, I would say, is Anubis, and that's because his passive, you know, amplifies it.
Because his passive does the same thing.
The whole idea is that Khaos is expecting to take damage in the fight, so he's like, he'll get that bonus power after, you know, as he gets lower, and so his I'm a Monster or his crushes are going to hit harder.
And you said that fight could have gone completely different if I'm a Monster would have connected from Khaos there. He had the freebie technically onto JeffHindla and just whiffed it ever so slightly off the markers. Blue buff being contested here by enemy in Luminosity's jungle. It's also going to force PandaCat to ult and look for aggression himself, trying to help out his team, but LG are holding their own jungle, and maybe Andy could look to turn this.
I don't think Andy's going to ult. Actually, no, he does. The ult just came up. Still elects not to teleport to Varizial, however. Marauder's ult was up as well.
BaRRaCCuDDa actually ulted during that engagement on the left-hand side there. I'm not sure he was low enough on health. I think it was more in case the fight on the right
I think that's what
needed
it was.
him.
Because he saw Darkest of Nights come out from PandaCat, so he wanted to make sure that if a fight breaks out, he's going to be there, and that's just a massive man advantage for LG. Thinking about that now, I'm a little bit surprised that LG didn't force it, knowing that they would have BaRRaCCuDDa in the fight.
They could have done that, but they may have lost a tower. Here's an engagement. Marauder early with that time of the Eagles rally, stopping ScaryD.
Though.
Getting that off
Varizial's in the sky. He's looking to time it, but I think ScaryD recognizes
No,
him.
Scary D does not
Marauder
recognize
got
it.
baited.
Dunk on your face. Wall. Double tap. Double tap. Just a little off the mark, but Berserker Barrage will clean it up.
That was beautiful from Marauder. He baits himself there. He moves forward, knowing that Scary D is going to be able to get free poke on him, and it's going to be a winning fight for Scary D. And then just as he does that, Varizial says, "What's up, man? You're dead."
And immediately they're going to disengage before the rotation from LG comes out. Andy going to go over there and soak the experience over in that solo lane. Varizial will head back into his jungle, start the blue buff up for Marauder to take on that Bellona after he finishes the breastplate of Valor in the solo lane.
2 kills to enemy right now. 1 on Luminosity. Game still very even. Both teams showing a lot of respect. But andinster, once again, he's had his speed buff stolen a couple times. He wants to try and steal away Varizial's. He actually went back in the lane, and now he's rotating back in here.
Well, speed buff being pulled by Andy. PainDeViande Khaos trying to be here with Marauder now coming in. It's going to force LG to reset it. They did steal away the babies, though.
This is just positioning from Luminosity, right? Or from enemy, right? They don't actually want to fight because Varizial was still coming out of spawn. They just pressure forward and act like they're going to force the engagement. So Luminosity gets a little bit wary about committing.
It was also the fact that if you saw enemy there, they rotated PandaCat all the way from the duo lane there.
They still want to make use of him. Can we highlight that ward? Is he in range? Oh, he's definitely in range now.
He wants these mid-harpies. BaRRaCCuDDa gone back to base. There's a minion wave coming in. The PandaCat is going to miss 1 or 2 of at the moment. And he's making a big trade for those left-hand harpies at the moment. If there's a fight goes on and Panda can be influential, he'll be useful. But he just lost half a wave to the tower.
He's fine for the most part. Only down about 100 gold. Not the biggest at this stage in the game. Varizial getting a little wake-up call there. Standing on top of ward, doesn't recognize it.
Well, he does now. He just got smashed in the face by
now,
some
he
drones.
knows now.
In the back, though, Scary D going to be taking the back harpies before heading back to lane for himself. There's PandaCat. Could be pressured by andinster here. Monkey.
Oh, the TK went to him again.
The end. Andy going to go in?
No.
Decides not to.
A little bit surprising. Maybe that, and that is actually really surprising coming out from andinster, because if you look at the wards, LG have full control on if enemy rotated, they would know, right? And even though if andinster burns ult there, he had Jotuns online. Additionally, like, that would have been PandaCat's purification, guaranteed, right? Even if PandaCat walks out, that's still 160-second cooldown.
But is it because the speed buff was being looked at by Marauder then?
Maybe.
Was that the reason they didn't want to lose the speed for a potential gank on PandaCat on the left? So instead, they're going to just retreat. They see 3 members of enemy now on the left-hand side of this map. Obviously, BaRRaCCuDDa is not in sight to be doing anything. He's doing the red buff at the moment.
I want to know when someone's going to pull the trigger, right? Varizial, obviously, he set up a kill on the right-hand side. There was a 1-for-1, right? Is it going to be the Gold Fury as both teams surround it? Because it seems like neither team wants to be the engager. They both kind of want to counter-engage. They don't want to force it.
There's a small opportunity right now for enemy, though, because Khaos has just hit level 12. If he goes back and gets that relic online for the bonus, they could look to try and force something. If he goes for something aggressive like a blink, maybe, that
I don't think
relic
I feel like Khaos will definitely go for the Aegis, or Sanctuary, excuse me.
Listen.
We saw Blink Artemis. Okay, I get it.
We saw Blink Artemis. I'm not giving up on any blinks anymore, ever. Wall, double tap, just off the mark onto Andy. Varizial just a little bit off the mark there. Andy well aware of it. And the fight for this is continuing. Meanwhile, Marauder is stealing away the blue buff from Scary D.
Marauder's done a really good job of controlling Scary D. Scary D died in the first initial engagement and then got ganked afterwards. And every time we take a look at this lane, right, Scary D is getting pressured out, having the buffs invaded, right? Even if it's not successful, Marauder's there just putting pressure.
Gold Fury pulled by Luminosity for a second, more than not just to get the ward placement down. Meanwhile, Scary D now proxy farming, trying to create a little bit of space against Marauder.
Blue.
And look at the blue, but there's a rotation for Varizial coming in onto him as well. And I don't think Scary D notices this.
He'll be fine. He's just going to wait. Actually, doesn't even waste ult there. Enemy just trying to guarantee the blue buff because the potential, LG forcing the gold through. You could already see LG surrounding it now. And it's just sitting at the front there, looking at PainDeViande. Going to get a little bit of poke off.
Going to have to pop the shield just to give himself some defense in case we saw Andy continue the aggression and find that crit. Left harpies are available here as Marauder now, Scary D going back to base here after proxy farming again, but he may see the speed buff here.
He's going to try and steal it. Jingo Bang. It looks like Varizial was able to get it, but he's out of mana right now, so he's not going to be able to force or fight at all. And you can see him taking a trip back to base, and LG still not able to take advantage of anything right now. Let's
go to the graphs and just see the experience difference, because it looks like there's still a favor of enemy here. That's more to the solo, I guess, than anything.
Yeah, I mean, Marauder has a level lead. Everyone else is basic. Actually, everyone else is even. No, Khaos has a lead as well, but I mean, at this stage of the game, this is nothing, right? It's like everyone's got, the second or third point into their ultimate. They're all just farming up.
This is the slowest game we've seen today.
Yeah, this feels like a European game, honestly.
That's it.
Season 2 Europe.
Okay.
Season 2 Europe was very like Fnatic. This feels like a Fnatic last year game. Okay.
Fnatic versus Paradigm.
Yeah, just like Z, and then like 20 minutes in, like everyone just goes like super hard, and it's great team fights.
Well, Speed Buff's back, and we've got both junglers with all the kills in this game so far. 2 for Varizial, 1 for andinster. And at the moment, Varizial's setting up for some pressure onto this left-hand side again.
That's a
BaRRaCCuDDa,
sentry.
but sadly, there's no BaRRaCCuDDa around.
That's a sentry, so he knows that he has vision there, but yeah, BaRRaCCuDDa was back farming the back harpies. That's what he's been doing all game, actually. Anytime he has control, and you can actually see he's got, even though he's 0-0 and 0, he has about a 600 gold lead directly over PandaCat, and that's just because he's been able to go and get the free harpies uncontested. A lot of times, too, PandaCat rotating over, expecting the ult from BaRRaCCuDDa, so he does lose a little bit of waves.
And talking about the 2 hunters as well, you can see the build difference between the two. Both went for full golden bow before going for warrior tabby there. And then Xbalanque for BaRRaCCuDDa, so no lifesteal in this build, but boxing potential against PandaCat, who went for the RC.
Gold Fury here, still being looked at, and I think Luminosity wants to force it, but enemy, they're always waiting in the jungle for them, right? Anytime LG disappear out of mid lane, PainDeViande will always sit like in that corner next to it, between his red buff and his harpies, and like towards the Gold Fury, right? That little quadrant right there. He just wants to make sure that LG can't sneak anything away from him.
Marauder hanging around for the blue buff once again. He's just been at ScaryD's blue buff the entire game.
Both of these solo laners have.
Well, the difference is Marauder's the one that's come out on top of it, but enemy starting the Gold Fury up finally for a second.
They want to fight now. I think enemy are like, all right, we're ready to fight here. We've got PandaCat here grouped up. BaRRaCCuDDa's back at base, so he has to burn his ult. You can already see.
Yeah. BaRRa ults all the way across the map, still ScaryD and Marauder over in that solo lane there. BaRRa drops his ult early, which is very smart to not show the enemy team that he ulted to this engagement, just in case, worried that they were going to invest, but PandaCat going to push the wave in.
And Varizial here are going to back, and it's going to split a little bit of experience with his Hunter, and still 16 minutes in, only 2-1 in kills. We've only seen 1 fight and 1 gank all game.
Yeah, that's pretty much been it so far.
Andinster has ulted once.
And that's all he's had to do. He's working on crit now, though, after finishing Jotuns. Meanwhile, Varizial has got Brawler's Beat Stick online for some anti-heal going on, and obviously the free penetration.
So this is surprising, because Varizial typically goes into the more frontline-oriented builds, right? Like I said, a lot of times he goes boots into Jotuns immediately, or excuse me, not boots, boots into breastplate, right? Because he likes just having that CDR, a little bit of extra tankiness, and he sets up for his team, which would be very good against this squad, who only have the Raijin for magical damage, but instead going damage-oriented, not something we see.
Left harpies going to go to enemy, and just everybody going to go back to farming again. PandaCat's done, like you said, a very good job of trying to rotate for these mid-harpies time and time again. However, BaRRa's got a bit of an experience lead here.
And I expect him to hold that for the most part. Oh, actually, that's 2 levels. That's much more than I thought it was.
Yeah, he starts him out just a little bit more. BaRRa's just out-farming him ever so slightly. I'm not sure whether it's him taking back harpies and getting balls alone or something like that, but...
The question here is, when are the power spike items going to happen? And actually, LG trying to force this. PandaCat smells it out, but Varizial's doing a speed buff.
He's already very low. Fear No Evil early. Luminosity get the Gold Fury for free, and they're all going to try and run away. PainDeViande leading the charge with the Odin. Round the corner comes Marauder. Dunk onto BaRRaCCuDDa. BaRRaCCuDDa seems to be the focus here on the Apollo, but there's no one really to follow this one up from enemy. Thor is in the sky at the moment. No, he's not. I tell a lie. Thor is around the side looking for pressure on ScaryD, who gets low and also away, but the Gold Fury just goes to LG for free.
That was, enemy actually just split up there a little bit. You could actually see Varizial ults in, trying to lock down ScaryD instead of setting up for the rest of LG, who are grouped. Enemy should be able to get this tier 1 in tower, but I don't think they're going to get much more after that. Actually, Varizial trying to chase andinster out of the jungle, and he just backs off. So LG finally finding kind of the first lead here in the game, although the difference is 400, so I don't know if you would really call it that.
And it's a normal response to take the mid tower after losing the Gold Fury, and that's what they did as well. LG's middle tower, after BaRRaCCuDDa being pressured a couple of times early on, meant that enemy already had whittled away at that enough.
You know, I think that there was actually no vision for enemy, or excuse me, for Luminosity deep into the jungle on the right-hand side, but I think they knew that Varizial was doing his speed buff because someone watched him walk over to that side, and that's why they all end that Gold Fury, right? Because they knew Varizial wouldn't be able to respond or get there in time.
Blue buff taken by Marauder now, and, well, this is enemy as a whole. If things, they're not so sure about things, they don't get a big snowball going in their games, they're quite happy to go very late in games.
They want to. They don't care about this, right? They're even heading into 18, 19 minutes. They just want a team fight, and they have a very good comp to do that. ScaryD got his ultimate off, and that was just unfortunate timing. I think they thought ScaryD's ultimate would still be down.
Luminosity, though, may look for pressure in the mid lane while they're all chasing down ScaryD here. They will find the kill. Marauder getting credit for that, but there might be an answer back by LG. Looking for the tier 1. No, it's not as heavy as you think. Because
no, look at the left-hand side, though. BaRRaCCuDDa is left as PandaCat had to rotate. This is going to be free tier 1 tower. Additionally, Unfortunately, andinster in the jungle is just there in case enemy try and stop him. You can see the pings coming out. BaRRaCCuDDa's going to be able to push this forward once again, and he's going to back out though. Enemy tried to get a fight going in the mid lane, but LG, they're like, all right, BaRRaCCuDDa split pushing. This is free. Let's back
Andy
off.
Could be a little bit caught here in the jungle heading back. He's going to get followed up by PainDeViande. Finn, even forced by Andy now as he's trying to get back to his tower. There's poison, gets him slow, but purification will remove the slow blink from Pain, and Andy's in a world of hurt. andinster will fall down as BaRRaCCuDDa comes crashing in. We might actually get more of a fight now because BaRRaCCuDDa is on his way too.
I think both teams are going to back off here. Still a 5-man grouping for enemy. They're going to steal away the boars or try to, as BaRRaCCuDDa is waiting around the corner here. No minions, though. You can see PainDeViande backing up. He wants to kill, though, so his team can split push this tier 1 tower, but the rest of his team is still at the edge while he's going back for the minions. And I mean, they're going to have a really long travel time. andinster might be able to spawn in time.
Scary is live as well. He's around this area now. Varizial swings around the back looking for poke on BaRRa. Wall connects, double tap, not so much. Jeff, though, gets a very good 2-man top, but where's the damage coming from? It's BaRRaCCuDDa that has the damage! The Thunder Crash goes out, and the drums of war are here, zoning them all back away. Sanctuary will keep him alive for now, but Marauder diving in, doesn't manage to get any further because of the wall from Varizial, accidentally blocks him off, and you can see Scary charging down, looking for the carries at the back.
He's trying to find Khaos, but Sanctuary's good for now, takes to the sky here, just going to heal up, not trying to force anything just yet. Does a little bit of damage to Marauder, but look at this. I mean, PainDeViande isolated from the rest of his team. He was trying to peel, but he's caught alone. Scary D gets walled up. I'm a monster, but the meditation keeps him alive.
But now Luminosity, they have a power play here. 3 members still here. They've got Athena tanking up the front line, a minion wave in tow. This tier 2 tower is under pressure here. Khaos and PainDeViande, Varizial are all going to stay. We've got Marauder can teleport back in, and that's why the ring was dropped from Pain, just to allow them to weather the storm until the teammates came back.
andinster going to be split pushing a tier 1 in mid lane, though. This is free for him. He walked into the jungle just to make sure no one's there. He's going to take it. There's a ton of jungle for him to steal as well. And Luminosity, they don't even need to force this tower. All they need to do is just keep enemy busy.
And you can see that Andy saw 2 members go mid lane, so he's probably called to go in on this. Andy round the back is available if he wants to, as PandaCat does use the ultimate, though, to try and create his own. Scary D getting low. Scary D does not have his ultimate as the bludgeon was being looked for there. Crush connects with 4 members from Khaos. It whittles down the health bars of Luminosity. PandaCat gets 1. andinster somersaults away, but only as far as a Scourge from Marauder will take him, and Jeff's trying to run.
2 picked off. You see Khaos here trying to close the gap. Doesn't have Sentinel, though. It's already down, and it doesn't look like LG are going to be able to hold this tier 1. BaRRaCCuDDa, or excuse me, BaRRaCCuDDa just doing the red buff now. A big grouping, though, from enemy. 5 members and a great response. That 4-man crush was massive. Unfortunately for Luminosity, the players were just too poked out, and even though andinster came from below and it looked like he had a really good angle to kind of give LG the fight, it doesn't go that way. Fear No Evil is useless as all of his team was trying to run away.
Trying to force a tier 2 enemy. They've got a minion wave in tow this time. PandaCat going to take a shot, and now it goes to PainDeViande, but 3 members of LG are here. Gold Fury just spawned as well. Whoever wins the fight, if there is one, it's going to go the way of the Gold Fury as well, so that's why you see immediately enemy dip after taking the tier 2 tower.
BaRRaCCuDDa has spawned, andinster in 1 second, and enemy, they're going to try and burn this, but I don't think Luminosity are going to give it up for free. You can see 3 members here grouped up. Marauder, PainDeViande on zone duty. Knocked up is Marauder there.
Being chipped away at, but PandaCat was focusing on the wall there, so he's taking a long
I'm a
time.
monster for
Wall
secure.
is down, Scary D. Forcible, I'm a monster is available. The dunk is good. Enemy get the Gold Fury, but BaRRaCCuDDa is here as his BaRRaCCuDDa with a big mez into the drums of war. The annihilation of the enemy front line begins.
You can see Marauder trying to get out, but there's nowhere for him to go. It's just a matter of time. andinster cleans up in a beautiful fight by Luminosity. They lose the Gold Fury, but they don't care. Pings are coming out. They're going to push this tier 2 tower, and actually they're going to split up. So they're going to take different routes, right? They're going to steal away the speed buff, do fire, get a tier 2. No, actually, Scary D just backs out of it as well. 3 members dead, and no, I'm a monster right now for Khaos.
PandaCat and Khaos, they know the Fire Giant's being done just by the fact that tier 2 was left standing. Panda going to see the speeds down and walk into an awesome situation of death, but very good use of his ultimate, and the Rising Jaguar escapes. andinster's Fear No Evil, but still, LG will get the Fire Giant.
3. It's at 3,000 right now. It's below, and just a great job from the rest of the team to make sure to zone out enemy. Luminosity down in kills, even in gold, but they have Fire Giant around their waist.
So the whole play from there was Gold Fury fight. The tier 2 tower falls, enemy disengage goes straight to the Gold Fury, and then BaRRaCCuDDa and BaRRaCCuDDa.
BaRRa. Besides, like, BaRRa crashes in, hits all 5 members for the entirety of his ultimate damage. Not a ton, but what he does get is a 4-man mez, and he doesn't break it. He waits for BaRRaCCuDDa to ult. The setup was perfect because they were all lined up in that very tight corridor. There was no way BaRRaCCuDDa would whiff. He hits all 4 members with all ticks of his ultimate, and the rest of his team helps clean up.
And the other thing, if you saw what BaRRaCCuDDa did, he used Purification when he landed.
Yes.
So he couldn't get CC'd by anything, so they couldn't stop him from finding that mez. Good presence of mind, and now that has opened up LG to have a bit of command now with their first
This
fire
game is so good. This set is so good. These teams are very evenly matched right now. Both excel, I would say, at team fighting. And now that, you know, kind of that early game landing phase where neither team really wanted to force anything has ended, I expect to see some pretty all-in team fights here. Luminosity, though, Fire Giant, they don't have a gold lead, and there's really nothing to take on the map, so they're going to start to group and try and whittle away at these last remaining Tier 2 towers.
Keep an eye on the builds coming out, though. We've got Raijin finish for Khaos. We've also got Wind Demon finish for PandaCat as well. It is his only form of crit, though, so it may just be that lucky 20% chance more than that. But as well, BaRRaCCuDDa working towards his crit now as well, but he won't be Wind Demon.
Varizial here getting zoned out. Century Ward dropped by ScaryD. Wants control of this. Going to take a little bit of poke.
How much is worth giving up here from enemy? How much are you realistically happy to lose?
I think you're Tier 2s, right? Unless LG get out of position, but they're doing LG's doing a really phenomenal job, right? It has to be a good fight for them. Probably sitting around Khaos and I'm a Monster, right? If they can burn Purification.
Or catch BaRRaCCuDDa in a ring, force his Sanctuary early, force the team to disengage and leave BaRRa isolated, and BaRRa's going to get crushed, but it's only to half health. They did get a small win. Varizial did not use his ultimate, which may mean LG go aggressive now.
Enemy have to back out. They only have I'm a Monster left. ScaryD in the back line, just going to keep them busy right now. Still every ultimate online for Luminosity. This could get dangerous for enemy if they try and force this.
Andy's round the back and ScaryD's being focused. Hello.
Scary's a bait.
The
Scary's
monkey
a bait.
comes in. He's going to dash in and jump, but he doesn't jump to the right target. He was looking for the pick, and actually it's I'm a Monster. And so PandaCat getting the kill on ScaryD. Luminosity misplay.
And now enemy, they're surging forward. All 5 members. I'm a Monster is down. They don't have any ultimates, but I expect Odin's to be online very soon. Jeff here caught by himself, and he actually tries to backstep it. Here's andinster over the wall. He's going to find the Fear No Evil. And BaRRaCCuDDa from the sky, isolating PandaCat, needs one more hit. There it goes. Crush doing a lot of damage. Now enemy trying to get away.
But it's only a 1-for-1. Make that a 2-for-1 in favor of LG. Varizial is back in Marauder, low on health at the moment. Has Eagles Rally just come up, though? Khaos trying to zone for them as time goes on, and immediately look where Andy's going. Straight to the speed buff and probably round to right-hand side as the rest of the team take the Tier 2 in middle lane.
Going to go uncontested there, and enemy thought they had control, but once again, BaRRaCCuDDa and andinster just combining for a beautiful play, and BaRRaCCuDDa as well comes crashing down with his ultimate. The mezzes from BaRRa have been massive, right? They have been game-changing, allowing LG to finish off kills that otherwise probably would have escaped from them.
And now they're going to look for the Phoenix now with 4 members around them. We'll see what they can actually do, because still 2 members dead. PainDeViande, PandaCat also down at the moment. PandaCat, well, PainDeViande, they're the first one up, but I'm pretty sure they could just potentially backdoor this without minions. Varizial goes in.
And Khaos actually taunted out. He's going to Sentinel away. In the front line, it's Marauder trying to stop BaRRaCCuDDa as best he can. PainDeViande's here as well. There's the cage, but no follow-up right now. Khaos gets eliminated by the BaRRaCCuDDa with Thunder Crash. But look at this, the 2-man gripping, the crush. It doesn't get popped, but still Marauder able to clean up JeffHindla. Fear No Evil.
BaRRaCCuDDa is going to be under pressure here. Doesn't have his Thunder Crash away, and now he's going to fall down to Varizial. Marauder going to give chase to ScaryD, slowing him down, but Marauder takes a lot of poke from Andy as well as ScaryD. But PandaCat has arrived. Wind Demon in tow, looking for the poison to slow him down and pick up the monkey.
No Phoenix falls, and enemy. They're going to wipe 4 members. andinster not going to teleport there. He's not
Fire Giant's up in a
that
second
risky
though as well.
What? Fire Giant?
Fire Giant's up in 40 seconds, and these members, some of them, ScaryD's dead longer than a Fire Giant spawn.
But ScaryD has, oh no, his teleport's down. This could be something enemy look to force. I think they're going to play it safe though. andinster actually doing a speed buff for Varizial, smells him out. He's going to take to the sky as well and just force andinster off. And now it's going to be a Tier 2 for enemy here. Gold is going to be dead even after this one. And neither team, no one's full build just yet.
They're going to look at the red buff. The Gold Fury is available as well for enemy on this side. So holding that has just brought the game even.
This game, right? There is
mad.
A Tier 2 on right, left up for enemy. There's a Tier 1 and Tier 2 for Luminosity as well on the right-hand side. The Phoenix remained strong, so it's not going to be half health for enemy. And, like, both of these teams so good at engaging and then counter-engaging right now.
All 5 members of both teams are now alive once again. Fire Giant still stands, as does the Gold Fury. Neither was taken off the back of that play from enemy, but they did get a tier 2 in mid lane, which evens things up in terms of towers for the most part, apart from that tier 1 on right.
For enemy right now, I'm looking at Khaos specifically, right? Because he gets off so much team fighting damage. He hasn't reset I'm a Monster once, right? He's connected a couple times, but they've been on the tanky targets. The big thing, though, is just all the poke damage that he's able to get off successfully in these fights. Even if he doesn't find the kills, right, he's only got 1. The follow-up from Marauder and Varizial and PandaCat is so good. On the other side, Luminosity, right, TheBoosh, a lot of their wins in these engagements have been around him getting multiple members grouped up in his ultimate because of BaRRaCCuDDa.
We mentioned BaRRaCCuDDa. Wind Demon is finished for BaRRaCCuDDa. He traded out his golden bow for it, though, to go alongside the rage crit that he already had. Meanwhile, you can see PandaCat working and just completed the Deathbringer. The hunters are about to go off. And all the while, the mages, well, they're starting to reach full build, too.
Thurday done for Khaos, working on that Soul Reaver. And it's Boosh who already completed the Soul Reaver. He's going to be working on Thurday, so he's looking for that 15% bonus so his team can all in. Fire Giant has been started by BaRRaCCuDDa.
And ScaryD leading the front with some Wukong, trying to create a zone and knock up PainDeViande from coming in there. Meanwhile, speed buff still stands for enemy to take here. But at the moment, you can see how chipped away at health Marauder is, and he doesn't have his teleport. That's why he's trying to hang around here at the moment. Andinster
here, scaring Varizial away. He's going to teleport to his hammer, scared that the monkey was going to jump on him, trying to separate himself from the rest of the team. And now it's just enemy. They're or Luminosity honestly are just baiting this, right? BaRRaCCuDDa I don't think is fully committed, even though the Fire Giant's half. It's just a bait, and it's going to be reset.
And enemy did very well there as Jeff does get the taunt onto PainDeViande, half health, but the crush was good to hit Boosh. But all enemy did with it was trying to buy time for Marauder to go back and heal. And now that he's back in the fight, they're pushing on.
Blink
for the Fire Giant.
Oh, PainDeViande had Blink, but he holds it for now. The rest of his team not in a position to follow up. And now enemy, they've got control of the Fire Giant. You can see PandaCat pushing forward by himself, though. Needs to be a little bit wary of the taunt coming out from JeffHindla.
This is the same thing. You just saw that BaRRaCCuDDa went back to base there, bought some extra wards. Now he's coming back, and you'll see LG will be the ones that may step forward again, look for aggression. PainDeViande going to leave. So it's just going to be a little tied more than anything else.
I mean, both of these teams, like, just know how good the others are, right? They're so respectful. They know one misstep out of line, and it's done for them. Look at this. Enemy actually double stacking wards right there. So, I don't want to say frustration, but you could see, like, they're all on the... That tells me that right now all of enemy are on the edge.
It's not the worst thing in the world either, because you kill one, you still got to kill the other one. It keeps
6
somebody
hits.
in a position a little bit too long, so it still works. And I believe it's actually distracted from the vision of what the Fire Giant pick can see.
And neither team here wants to focus on the Fire Giant. You can see they both kind of gave up the dance for it now, trying to farm away. Varizial has finished Genji's Garb, so a little bit more CDR from him. And going to reduce his cooldowns as well when he takes any magical damage.
I think we've got a little bit of golden hand, I guess, for andinster, but he's got Deathbringer and Malice finished here as well. So his build's a little bit more expensive is the reason Varizial's finished his already.
Yes.
It's on the cheaper side.
You can see red buff actually being worked on by Khaos. Enemy don't want to force anything. Red buff's so critical to mages late game because it's based on percentage. So the more magical power you have, the more useful that red buff's going to be. Khaos is going to pick it up, and now enemy, they're probably going to start looking to force something here or group someone up.
Do we want to see BaRRa split push now? Like, we can force...
It's not worth the risk. It's not worth the risk. With how close this game is, like, even the travel time, enemy could already have cleaned up. And we've seen how useful BaRRaCCuDDa has been in these fights.
Jeff goes in, looking for the taunt, gets Raijin Jaguar out of PandaCat straight away. Still got his purification available, though. And that's why Andy was looking for that monkey then to Pain to try and bounce it to Xbalanque in the back. And ScaryD, well,
just poke.
Just under half your health.
Just poke. Enemy not trying to force anything, trying to make sure ScaryD is in a comfortable position. He has meditation, though. The question is whether he goes back to base.
Khaos hit that crush, yeah, and that was without Soul Reaver and took probably about 30% of ScaryD's health.
I mean, he got hit by the double tap as well to, you know, hit him down to 50%. It's so deadly right now. Like, you step 1 foot out of position, and the other team's going to blow you up, right? Taunt or stun from Thor Hammer. And now PainDeViande here. On top of a ward, LG have control right now.
LG have a bit of an advantage, though, for positioning, because they've got that tier 1 tower up on the right-hand side, which is allowing BaRRa to clear minions and continue farming and continue just keeping poking away. And it's allowing a safe fallback point for LG to group up on if they need to. But now they're going to get Gold Fury control. Oh, they stole the speed. They stole Varizial speed with ScaryD's Jingle Bang. Some Wukong and Jingle Bang is just OP.
It's so good. And andinster the whole time has just been sitting here in this mid lane. He just, like, if a fight breaks out, he's going to be able to, you know, pinch enemy. It's that positioning he wants.
At the stage of the game, you're going to see a taunt come out actually from Varizial, forcing Purification, and crash from BaRRaCCuDDa onto Khaos' face, forcing Sanctuary as well. The taunts were good though from BaRRaCCuDDa. Khaos trying to run away to safety, but I'm a Monster is up. He doesn't dunk it. BaRRaCCuDDa though dunks him, and he will fall down.
Fear no evil as well. Andinster actually teleports to Varizial. PandaCat almost was able to isolate him out. And actually, Varizial's going to be chasing him. The rest of his team following up. Berserker's Barrage, overhand smash, not enough, and it's a 1-for-1 once again. Andinster traded out for Khaos, and Varizial, he's going to be safe in this game. Back and forth. It was the all-in call as Varizial was caught, but somehow enemy are successfully able to disengage, and then Andinster trying to... Honestly, the problem there was that he was trying to fight PandaCat, and PandaCat is very deep into his build. He's got Oboe online, Chins as well, Wind Demon, and Deathbringer, and if Andinster goes to overhand smash PandaCat, he's going to die before it's done.
But Andy was trying to set up more than anything to allow BaRRaCCuDDa to find that kill on Khaos, which he nearly did solo there. Khaos escapes and BaRRaCCuDDa dunks in from above and finds the pick. Fire Giant started up by enemy. Taunt is available for Jeff. Can actually find it onto Varizial, who's below half health, but does get away with a ring. Crash missing from BaRRaCCuDDa, but BaRRaCCuDDa under pressure from PandaCat. PandaCat going to get some good damage off of the
Look
Oboe.
at this Oboe. Oboe doing so much. Garrity actually going very aggressive, trying to pick up Varizial, but Varizial's already out. JeffHindla looking for the taunt, but Marauder over the wall trying to escape. BaRRaCCuDDa, Thunder Crash Shun. He's looking to pick up Marauder, who's isolated, but the call is to head back to Fire Giant.
That is discipline from BaRRaCCuDDa. I've not seen it in quite a while. The call to come back to Fire Giant, and he does. Jeff going to set up looking for Pain. Pain going to get taunted. Going to take some poke from the damage from BaRRaCCuDDa, but it's not too much this time as Marauder now teleports back in to contest the fight.
Khaos and Andinster back online as well here, so neither team wants to force anything. 35 minutes in, 12-9 read the kills. It doesn't even matter what the experience is.
I can't call this game.
It doesn't matter what the gold is. These are two evenly matched teams playing such a respectful game between one another.
On paper, when you look through the gods that both teams have here, I generally say Scylla, Xbalanque should be above Apollo, Raijin, but Raijin's too new, and Raijin, he's got the burst potential you're looking for, especially with the patch change, which we've not really touched on.
That's where Luminosity has really found, you know, wins in team fights, has been the Raijin, right?
Yeah.
Over the wall in mid lane, as well as that kind of corner next to Gold Fury on the left-hand side of the map that BaRRaCCuDDa was able to mez out for, and the immediate follow-up from BaRRaCCuDDa.
But it's not player damage from Raijin that we're getting here. You can see it's lower down than what Khaos is by a good 2,000 here. It's more control, more burst control that is available for them.
And Khaos has been doing a good amount of poke as well. The crushes, not always securing the kills, but just allowing for Marauder and Varizial to clean up. And funny enough, I mean, there's been so much team fighting that we're 36 minutes in, and neither mid laner has even finished their build. They're not even done with their 5th items yet. Actually, BaRRaCCuDDa just finished his, excuse me.
Supports are closing in on level 20. When it hits level 20, the supports will turn around and goes, guys, come on now, this is taking too long. We're not used to this. 37 minutes in, enemy very good at taking it late, and credit to LG, a lot of that team have gone to very long games themselves. This could be, I don't want to say it, but this could be
76-minute game again.
76-minute game.
Please, no.
It could be.
I mean,
we're only 30 out.
I mean, neither team has really made any massive mistakes, and that's the thing, right? The past 15 minutes has been this dance around Fire Giant. Before that, it was the dance around Gold Fury. It's like, who is going to get caught, right? And the one time that Varizial kind of gets caught out, enemies still find a return kill onto Andinster.
And that's been the tell of enemy, though, because sometimes if one of their members gets caught out, they all rally in to support them, and that's when enemy end up losing a couple of games, is where they're following themselves in 1-by-1 in support. So just keep an eye on that, because LG, well, they force an initiation. Talk about that. Varizial, he's bored. He's going up looking for Andy. Somersault down. Wall is down. Sorry, we also saw fight off their dock. Is nice. He's still fighting in, forcing Fear No Evil Sanctuary Purification burn. Andy gets hit by the ultimate from Jeff as well. A forced fight over nothing, and Marauder, well, he's going to create his own in mid lane. Could get taught into a bit of danger here, as there's some damage coming out from BaRRaCCuDDa, but he's not going to find the percussion.
I was really surprised that Varizial kept up that aggression there after he whiffed the first 3 abilities, but still teleports to his hammer. And Andinster is able to successfully just jump away. Neither team get anything off of it. Only 2 ultimates used for both squads. Varizial doesn't have Anvil of Dawn.
Is there a limit to patience in this game that you have to have? Because, I mean, you saw Varizial that look for that pick.
I mean, obviously, that's the hardest thing, right?
Ring in mid lane, going to connect, but it's going to be a taunt onto PainDeViande. He's below half, but so is JeffHindla. The ults come out as well from both the mid lane mages, but it's not enough to secure a kill on anybody. On the front side, the Marauder is in a lot of trouble as PandaCat gets some good crits. Khaos will actually pick up the kill onto Andinster, who picks up Panda.
1-for-1 once again. BaRRaCCuDDa, though, actually chasing in this guy. He's going to look to isolate Marauder. Marauder, 4 members grouped up, and the rest of his team isn't in position to follow up. He doesn't want to risk coming in, and once again, a 1-for-1. PandaCat falls as well as andinster. andinster barely getting the better of PandaCat, though, with that massive 7-10 crit there.
But Jeff on the way back here, and healthy enough, is the side of LG right now. You can see BaRRaCCuDDa is below half. With health potions, he's going to go and sustain a little bit off that blue buff on that left-hand side, on the right-hand side, I should say, is blue buff taken by Varizial as well. And every fight, 1-for-1. And when it becomes a 1-for-1, nobody else wants to carry on.
It's just, they know that if they dive too deep, like that's kind of been the tale of these teams, right? Is that they've both gone very deep chasing kills, and the other teams have turned on them. Enemy probably the best at it, right? LG goes very aggressive, and enemy able to nearly wipe them at their Phoenix earlier on in the game. So I think LG are a little bit scared to dive, and once again, a lot of discipline coming out from BaRRaCCuDDa and TheBoosh this game.
So we could see Khaos gone back to base there, and is that going to be Divine or Polynomicon, do you expect here?
Poly, probably. Especially if he gets dove by like BaRRaCCuDDa or andinster, he just wants to be able to root crush, auto dead. Just doesn't even need to ult.
Root auto against andinster should be enough if he's got Soul Weaver up just to
That's true
end
as well.
his life. We'll just keep an eye on that now because the mages about to hit full build. Hunters are doing what they can, and they've both done very well. It's only not been that many kills in this game for 40 minutes in, actually, if you think about it more.
I mean, 23, not that much.
It's slowed down.
And still, PandaCat can get stronger. You see, he's got 4 kills, 2 more to get max stacks on his passive, giving him a little bit 10 extra or 30 bonus power when it's fully stacked up. Hasn't been able to find the kills like we saw last game.
And both teams, like you said, they don't want to do split pushing here because they all want to be here just in case the fight goes off.
Can't split. The second he's gone, enemy will force a fight.
Either. The solos can't teleport either. Taunt from Jeff, going to connect with PandaCat.
Varizial
going to the sky at the same time, however. Crush it onto Jeff, and Jeff's isolated and alone here. But meanwhile, Varizial goes in on BaRRaCCuDDa, who takes to the sky, away from the danger. Fear no evil, though, from Andy's going to find Khaos, and there's the first casualty of war in this fight.
Now Boosh, drums are hit, and it's going to be 3 members taunted out. PandaCat in a little bit of trouble. There's the follow-up taunt onto Marauder. And finally, we have a winning fight for LG. But enemy, they don't want to give it up just yet. Tectonic Rift off the mark. LG are just going to reset. They got the kill onto Khaos. Now they're going to force the Fire Giant that they have an advantage, finally.
All ults are down. Jeff is on zone duty here. He's got andinster in tow, but the wall from Varizial hits both of them. Fire Giant goes the way of Luminosity. Taunt, though, onto PainDeViande, who is annihilated in the fight, but he'll get away from a moment, crashing in his Boosh, as is andinster, and Boosh gets credit for the kill. LG with that man advantage,
this is
making
trouble.
It 2.
This is really troubling right now for enemy. Khaos going to be spawning in 25 seconds, but LG, at the very least, they're going to get a Phoenix, possibly 2. They could just look to force, right? If they're able to kill 1 or 2 more people, they're just going to look to end, and look at this. Oh, andinster wanted it, but not going to go too deep.
The game is done if they kill Panda. Khaos is up in 10 seconds, however, so I don't think they can end unless they find a kill before that. Phoenix being focused. Eagles rally comes out massively from Marauder there to create a zone for the team. Phoenix still standing. The members getting low, and Khaos is about to spawn.
Khaos is here. A lot of members low. I'm a Monster is available here. If he can find a reset, this could be good. There's one. Looking for the second. There's andinster, but andinster finishes off Khaos in time. And now Marauder, the last one alive, he's going to be falling as well. Luminosity, in one of the closest games we've seen all season, come up with a big deicide in the 42nd minute, and they're going to even it out. They're going to trade with the top of North America and find themselves with a big win.
And it wasn't a long game of boredom. It was like these close fights between the two that traded out so much that neither team could take an advantage.
JeffHindla, honestly, the one who was able to successfully open up, I think, the game for Luminosity. We saw multiple times just getting the taunts off, forcing the purification, and even in the last picks were all around Jeff, right? He's just waiting. And you don't see him do it often, right? So enemy start to lose a little bit of respect. They're like, okay, Jeff isn't jumping in and taunting on cooldown, he's waiting. But every single time he did, it almost always resulted in a win for LG, whether it was a kill, whether it was a relic, whether it was, anything.
I'm not sure PandaCat, oh, sorry, not PandaCat, Raijin by Boosh as well.
Yes.
Raijin hit a lot with those ultimates, and I think Raijin may actually be a bit more viable this patch in the SPL than what we saw previously.
So he's not as slow in his ultimate as now, so we'll have to see if we start to see him rise.
Let's go all the way back to game 1. Enemy took game 1 in that standing fashion, and one of the things to talk about there was definitely PandaCat's performance there. Artemis came out, Wind Demon online, jobs are good, and we take multiple towers down, we have some great fights, and it started right at the beginning.
This is just a free Gold Fury he was able to get, and then just here, look at that Golden Bow do work. Hits all 3 members with volley as well, and even against Warriors, right, he did so much damage on that front line.
And just continues
This
as
is the
well.
blink board.
He's actually zoning, but then blinks in, gets the boar, and BaRRa's already dead. Then they look at Jeff with the trap as well. Just annihilates him for a double, and that was just him on his own making that play.
And here's him just bursting down the Phoenix. You can see 622 crits. That was 2.5 attack speed, and maxed out. This build seems to be really working for PandaCat. And
this was game 1 where he had a fantastic performance, so comfortable on the Artemis. Game 2, a little bit of a different story, I guess, with the two teams. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it was an even game that could have gone either way at all stages.
I'm pretty sure PandaCat was pretty high up there in damage in the second game, but realistically, it all came down to positioning, and andinster kind of got the better of him in a lot of those fights.
Well, this was an opportunity where enemy came back into it when LG, well, they bit off it a little bit too much more than they can chew. And you can see he was trying to get involved, but they had a lot better focus onto taking him out, but still, he finds a kill.
And here is him getting picked under tower, just a little bit too pushed up and not respecting the Athena. We see that a lot from players where not really expecting the Athena to taunt them, even though they're at the edge of towers. And this kill, that was great from BaRRaCCuDDa and BaRRaCCuDDa.
Yeah, BaRRa had a very good game for himself as well. I think a bigger impact on the Apollo than what we saw previously, picking up PandaCat there and trading things out after that first game. And it's looking better for LG this week.
They honestly came up with a big, even in their loss in the first game, right, it wasn't them getting stomped, right, which we've seen them falter, right. They all played pretty well. It was just really good grouping from enemy, right. LG had the kill lead, but they're facing off against the best team fighting, squad in North America right now, and honestly, LG is starting to turn up.
And the big thing there is, what was the big thing that turned up from, do you think?
It wasn't even the speed buff. It wasn't even andinster. It just seems to be like they were more of a cohesive unit, and there wasn't any bad performances from individuals. A lot of the times that we saw losses earlier in the season, it was like one person just played really rough, and this time everyone came up to play.
They did all come out to play, and that was a very good performance from LG and enemy. They split 1-1. We do have andinster on the line, though, from LG to have a little chat with him and see how things are going. Andy, how you doing?
Hey guys, how are you? I'm doing all right.
Pretty good.
Not too bad, not too bad. So, talk to us first of all, things with the roster now in place. You've got ScaryD over in the solo lane. How things are working out with you and the team?
The environment is like better than it's ever been, basically, for scrims, so that's really good. And I don't know, he's fitting in really well so far.
Talk to me a little bit about that game 2, specifically kind of the Fire Giant dance. Like, what was going through your mind, right? What's the thought process in these situations?
It's just kind of like, since it's so slow paced, you just look for one person's actives to be down, I guess, is kind of what's going on. So it's like, oh, Jeff dash taunts, like, oh, whose beads do we get? Whose Aegis do we get? And then you reinitiate, and it's like, oh, Scylla's beads are down, let's everyone dive Scylla. It's kind of just sort of like that.
It's kind of how it felt watching it as well, as you just waiting patiently for it. So with LG this season, Andy, you've struggled at the start of the season. You've now started to find a team here. What's your expectations for the rest of the season for LG? Are you and the boys?
I think we should just basically win most of our games. I didn't really even expect to lose the first game today. I think we should pretty much go undefeated for the rest of the split.
Oh, big call from you there. Is this because of ScaryD, the new jungle meta, or a mix of both, right? Because I was talking about where I think you're going to be a little bit more successful with speed buff back.
Yeah, it's probably a mix of both. I think we finally found the solo laner that we want for now, which is obviously ScaryD, so that's good. And then, yeah, pretty much everything you said.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Andy. Do you have any shout-outs before we let you go?
Yeah, of course. Shout-outs to LG, my teammates, all the fans, and Allied, of course.
Shout out to Allied as well. Thanks for joining us, Andy. So congratulations on your split against enemy. They wanted more, Adonis, but they didn't manage to find it.
andinster sounded very confident, right? Not only saying he expected to win that first game, but he expects to kind of run train for the rest of the split. You can see right now Luminosity, though, sitting in 4th at 11-7.
They've still got a train to try and run, because Eager obviously did very well today against Allegiance. Saw as well, and enemy, well, they hold their #1 position with that split against Luminosity.
And enemy, I wouldn't say they've been struggling, right? They started off 9-1. Since then, they've been 5-5, but they've traded out really good games against top teams.
It's true. And the big talking point is which 3 will make it to DreamHack from North America and Europe, and that's where you can get your tickets. DreamHack.se. 9 international teams will be there in Smite, as well as the Paladins Founders Tournament, where we'll see 4 teams participate there.
I can't wait to see China, because the other regions we've seen, kind of play a little bit more every once in a while, but having China come into this international tournament at the Smite Masters, I'm really excited. I want to see them upset some teams, honestly.
Some more bracket mid. Yeah.
Maybe first blood TheBoosh again? Or
Well,
almost? Oh no,
almost
Boosh
first
actually got
blood.
out. That was Snoopy.
However, this was only Thursday. We still have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to come. On Friday, we head over to Europe, and you'll see Dignitas versus Leftovers and Paradigm versus Cringe Crew, and we'll close things out with
Fnatic and Hungry for More. Having 2 games, or excuse me, 2 sets against the bottom teams right now in Europe, which means they could actually find themselves with an even record at 10-10.
And the interesting thing is, Panthera could technically lock themselves in with a DreamHack spot if Dignitas lose all their games tomorrow.
You think that's going to happen?
It's a possibility. I don't think Dig will lose all their games, though. Well,
Alright.
that's my opinion. What's your opinion at home? Well, I don't really care about it, because mine's mine.
Savage.
Have a wonderful evening, all of you, and we'll see you all tomorrow for some extended Pro League. And don't forget, we all love Peckies.